Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, this solar eclipse energy is kicking. How are you going to make it work for you? Let's have a chat about it. Hello all, I'm Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to a Transformational Tarot Special Edition. This is the solar eclipse that is happening on September 7th. And this is a reading for all of the air signs. So Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. We seriously need to have some conversation about how you can make this work for you. We did a reading on the lunar eclipse, which happened 2 weeks ago, and now we are in the solar eclipse. And what does that mean for all of you guys? Well, what it means is the lunar eclipse is an internal reset. And now we are in that solar energy of externalizing what we have reset. And there's a lot of grounding that's going to be coming up here because it is a solar eclipse in Virgo. So you're going to be dealing with issues regarding structures, regarding the day-to-day, your scheduling for the day-to-day, the way that you choose to serve. It's also going to affect the perfectionism that is within each of us. Some of us are, I want to say, perfectionistic all across the board, and other of us have, maybe one or two areas where, that's our area of mastery, or that is our area of trigger, and, we're having to work through that. So these are some of the issues that are going to be coming up. So without further ado, let's kind of have a chat about where things are at. And I'm going to be pulling cards for you guys today from the Violet Soul Tarot. Forgive me, the box is in a box. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right. So I am much more prepared today than I was for the lunar eclipse. So we are going to dive right on in here. Oh, and there's a card that flipped out right away for you. This is what are you releasing from your external world? It flipped, I promise. There we go. What are you releasing from your external world that is no longer serving you or in alignment with where you're going and growing? And this is really important for this particular window of time, right? Because we've done the work and now it's time to apply the wisdom. Interesting. Okay. So this is great. You're releasing that Eight of Swords energy. You are releasing the idea that there is anyone or anything that can entrap you and keep you from moving forward into your dreams, your goals, and your desires. Air energies. This is a time for you to really recognize where the illusion of the entrapment has taken its hold on you, and where you're recognizing now, you know what, I need to stop putting myself in situations where I'm giving away my power. Air signs, I'm actually a Virgo sun, but then all of my other signs are in air. So I definitely feel like I identify with air signs. I have a Gemini moon and a Libra rising. So there you go. And I feel very much here that the challenge that we have a lot of times is that we overthink, we overanalyze, we're always in our heads. And while that is a strength in a lot of ways, it can also be a weakness when those times come up where you're trying to solve a heart problem with the head. And I feel like when we're talking about what you're releasing, as you're moving into the externalization of the work that you've done, you're also having to recognize that sometimes my head needs to be put in its place. Sometimes my head needs to go to sleep and not be invited to the meeting where everybody else is involved in. It's kind of like repurposing. I talk about repurposing the ego, giving the ego a different job. In many ways, that's what this is about. It's recognizing where you're continuously ruminating or going over particular patterns or cycles over and over and over again, and you can't seem to break them. Very likely it's because you're not using the right tool for the job. And I feel like that's exactly what you're releasing at this time. The reverse of this card is liberation. And so that's the exciting component of what this is for you guys, is there is a liberation that is at hand, but you do have to release yourself from the swords. And, there is a component to this card. I talk about it a lot, where sometimes there's fear of, she's blindfolded here and her hands are bound. We don't know if her legs are bound or not. I'm going to assume not. But because she is bound and because her eyes are closed, she's fearful. She doesn't really know what's going on. And so she doesn't want to move, because she doesn't know, like, if I take a step, will I get hurt? Will I get cut? Will I fall off a cliff? Will I step into something that I don't know what it is? We rely a lot on, our sight, our physical sight. This is an invitation to lean into the intuition, to lean into the heart space and allow the heart to lead the way, and put the thoughts to the side and really just focus on the feeling. What feeling is drawing me in a direction? Lean into that. And you can do it slowly, one tiny step, one tiny, toe in front of the other if you need to, inching along. You are going to maybe have some pain or discomfort, but you'll heal from it. I like to say you're not going to die from these cuts. These would be shallow cuts that you will heal from them. But it is necessary to go through that process in order to get out and onto the other side. What can you benefit greatly from during this solar eclipse? So, what is the purpose of this solar eclipse for you? Oh my God, I love it. Ace of Cups. So it's an initiation into this next chapter for you. And I'm going to say, for most of you, air signs, I feel like the reset creates a new volume for you, not just a new chapter. There's a real energy here of you letting go completely of what was and stepping fresh into a new version of yourself. And I mean, we talk about that a lot in transformation, obviously. But I'm feeling like for a lot of you, it's like a reset across the board. You're really stepping into your life and saying, I really feel like I want something brand spanking new, or I'm just tired of everything beforehand. I can always go back to it because I know it. I've already been there and done that. I can always go back. But let me try this new way forward. Let me dip my toes in the water and see what else is available, because I'm a little bored, or because I'm feeling like it's time for me to branch out, or it's time for me to be bigger. It's time for me to stop playing small. So I feel like this is the big thing that is wanting to be birthed through you. And with the eclipses, the peak time is on the 7th, and then you've got 2 weeks to really activate what you're choosing to activate during that time. And then things will unfold. The energy will unfold over the next 6 months. So we're really talking about this 2-week window. And I feel like this is what wants to come out. This is what you are going to receive and achieve on the other side of this. But you have to be willing to, take a vacation from everything that you've known and really be in almost like a student energy space. Aces are all about pure potential. So it's a nothing burger unless you actually agree to it, unless you actually decide, okay, yes, I want to work with this energy and I'm going to take some action steps towards it. It's very loving. It's very soothing. This is definitely going to be, I want to say, a supportive journey for you. Not to say that everything is going to be perfect. Well, speaking of perfection, it might not be, or it might be a journey that it helps you to explore what perfection is and what perfection isn't for you in this new space. But I do feel that above all else, it's going to feel very supportive. And that's kind of nice when you're coming out of this space of the fear that holds you back and stepping into the everything is possible. Nothing is off the table. Oh, yeah, these cards are really speaking to you today. What wants to be birthed on your behalf during this solar eclipse? I like this energy for you because I feel like what wants to be birthed is you as the magician, you as the main source in your own life. I just keep hearing the word co-creation. I've mentioned it a little bit earlier. I'm going to mention it again. For you air signs, it really truly is about co-creation. And I feel like with the magician, it's a reminder for you that you have everything you possibly could want and need at this point. It's just a matter of you dialing in to yourself and saying, okay, let's experiment. Let's alchemize. Let's put some of these resources together. It's like you're being given all of the resources, but you don't necessarily have the recipe book. You're having to create the recipe. And sometimes that can be scary. Sometimes it can be daunting. Sometimes it's frustrating. I'm in a rush. I just want to know what the hell it is that I need. Or what if I, go through the hassle of making this meal and on the other side of it, it turns into a disaster because I didn't have something, didn't have the key ingredient or whatever the case may be. I feel like what wants to be birthed is confidence in yourself. This energy of, well, I am the magician. And so if I am the magician, it means that I've been given this ability, given these skills, given this intuition, this inspiration for a reason. And so if I've been given it, it must mean that it's inevitable. I'm going to be successful. So why not just go under that premise, begin, take next steps under the premise that this will be successful in whatever capacity it's going to be. And maybe I don't attach an outcome to what that success looks like, but I really be in the presence of the fact that I do have these resources. I feel like it's time for you to get to know your resources a little bit better. We take a lot of things in life for granted. All of us do, not just you as air signs, every single person. Just the way that we live, we take a lot of things for granted. The magician is coming through, and this eclipse is coming through to bring more awareness to what you have to be grateful for and what you have access to. And so that feels really exciting. I like that for you guys. Who are you becoming during this potent time? This is always a really fun one. I think it's such an important question for all of us to ask ourselves, that who are you becoming energy. Because we create it, we co-create it all the time. So who are you becoming? We've got the Three of Swords. You're becoming an individual who leads with compassion, not only for others, but for yourself. And I feel like that's the big takeaway with all of this energy that you're in is, where am I in my own world? I am in service in many, many ways to a lot of people, but I also have many ideas, many dreams, many goals, many needs, many requirements for myself, with myself, by myself. Where am I fitting into the mix here? So typically, the Three of Swords is that card of heartbreak, but on the other side of it, it's the healing. And it's the healing through self-compassion and the healing through compassion for another. I think this is absolutely beautiful, especially being the magician and recognizing that you have so much at your fingertips that can resolve a lot of things, that your love cup can absolutely be full and overflowing because you're getting rid of this fear. But now you have compassion for those who are still stuck in this space. And maybe that is what's coming out for you from that externalized solar energy. When we're talking about structures and reorganization and service, I feel like you're really looking at what you've been prioritizing in your life up to this point, and you're making some shifts. And it feels like it's shifts towards compassionate approach rather than towards a more, I want to say, rigid or demanding approach or a judgmental approach. Very, very interesting. Okay, what must you consider for receiving all you desire and deserve at this time? Oh my goodness, you guys have like a lot of like swords and cups energy. There's just 2 threes in a row. Loving this. Okay, so this is about recognizing that you're stronger together than you are apart. This is giving yourself permission to be a little more vulnerable with others, to identify who you really enjoy spending time with and who you feel spending time with is a chore. And I feel like when you're doing that, there may be a bit of a cleaning of the closet. There may be a realization of, I don't want to spend time with this person, or I don't want to do this activity anymore. There may also be a realization that I want to spend less time doing this activity or being with this person. So it doesn't have to be extreme. It doesn't have to be the black and white of things. But I do feel really strongly that in order for you to receive everything that's coming up for you, when we talk about the compassion piece, it's having compassion, but compassion doesn't mean you're a doormat and that you take, crap from other people, or that you continue to put yourself in situations where you're being drained, or you're not being honored or fulfilled, or you're just simply not having fun. It's obligation. Compassion for self is acknowledging, I deserve this celebration. I deserve this level of connection. And anything that is false or fake or inauthentic or disingenuous, any interactions where I feel like I'm forcing myself to be something other than, time to let that shit go. You're creating a life where, when we talk about that concept of perfectionism, you're creating a life right now where not that everything is perfect, but it's like perfect for you, the perfect situation and scenario for you. And I feel like that's where that compassion piece comes in. So do what you need to do so that you can have that. And I'm not saying sunshine and daisies, wine and roses all the time. I'm saying pay attention to who you can be vulnerable with. Because it's the vulnerability, the compassion, the vulnerability that fills your love cup. How are you to best serve your community and the collective at this time? The Empress. Interesting. So this is your third 3 in a row. Holy shit balls. I got to point that out. And literally in a row. So you are in a very potent, active, creative time. And it's creating the life that you want to live. What does that mean? It's creating the way you want to feel every morning when you wake up, and how you want to feel when you are approaching every situation that comes into your path that day, and how you want to feel before you go to bed every single night. The Empress is about the creativity. It's also about the abundance. I feel like when we're talking about how you can best serve your community, it's interesting that we've got the 3 people here as well. That's how you can best serve your community, is by making sure that the people that you spend time with bring out the best in you, and that you bring out the best in them. And anything less is not acceptable. And I feel like there may even be like a hard line that you're drawing where that's concerned. I'm really drawn to the roses on her dress here. Roses often make me think of Mary Magdalene, and Mary Magdalene is the great teacher. She teaches us a lot of important life lessons, but the biggest thing is she teaches us how to stand in our own light in spite of what everyone or anyone else thinks or says or does. She walks her path. And I feel like this is what you're setting yourself up for. Walk your path. Be with the people that bring out the best in you, and leave the rest behind. You're going to serve them in different ways. You can always help them in different ways. But I really feel there's almost this energy of really coming to terms with, well, I like to say, not my circus, not my monkeys. Really coming to terms with those that you can have a symbiotic, reciprocal dynamic with, and those you can't. Air signs, I want to say it's very relational for you guys, this particular solar eclipse. Very much about your relationships, and reshaping and reforming and recreating your relationships in the image that you need them to be. Very, very interesting. I feel like I missed a question, but we're going to just kind of keep going here. Okay, an anchor card to help you harness this potential. So I'm going to pull an anchor card for each of the individual signs. So Aquarius, we're going to start with you guys. Oh, all right, you got the Lovers, which is the Gemini card. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, so how can you harness this potent energy of the solar eclipse? This is all about, for you guys, really reflecting on where you have shied away from making connections that are really going to allow you to shine your light and go big. I feel like for some of you, this is a time to evaluate where you've been playing small. Yes, you can evaluate why you've been playing small, but I feel like the more important action step here is to acknowledge where you've been playing small and to simply do the opposite. So at this time, the why is less important as the how, action step towards it. I want to say to you, Aquarians, this is a time to be a bit courageous, to step into that space of, and you guys have this really well, where it doesn't matter to you so much about what others think. Certain people in your life, yeah, you care, but in general, you're going to kind of do your own thing anyway. This is the card that's coming up to say, reflect on those things and move forward with that. There are spaces and places where you have been playing small because you're afraid to be seen. And I feel like that's what it is. You're afraid to be seen. There may be other fears, sort of layered in that, but that's the biggest issue. I'm afraid to be seen for who and what it is that I really am. I'm afraid to be vulnerable, with the wrong people. I'm afraid to be vulnerable in the wrong situation or the wrong circumstance. And I'm going to say to you, the Lovers says, no, this is the great reflector. This is the universe reflecting back to you where you are not standing fully in your potential and in your light. And that's what you're being called to show, because that's what the world needs from you right now. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Geminis. Interesting. Geminis. So the Chariot is coming up and coming through because I feel like this is important for you. All the things that we talked about here, it's important for you to take action. You're moving. You are in motion. The momentum is already happening. So don't get in the way of the momentum. I want to say this is one of those kind of changes that you can't stop the change from occurring. So the choice is really in how you want to embrace the change. And I feel very strongly here that there is going to be victory on the other side of this eclipse. 6 months from now, you're going to look back on this time and you're going to say, wow, I'm really glad that I didn't stop that thought that I had from becoming, or I didn't get in the way of the direction, that I felt really called to, even though some of it didn't necessarily make sense, or some of it was a bit difficult, to embrace and to embody. I'm really glad that I did that, because I'm now where I really want to be. And for some of you, it might even be that you get to a place and it's even better than you could have even imagined. So like what you could have imagined for you in your mind at that time was a 7 out of 10. But then you get to where you're going and it's like a freaking 10 out of 10. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know that it could be like this. This is so cool. So keep your forward momentum going. That's how you're going to harness the energy that's coming up. And Libras. Interesting. So another 8. Libra, I really feel like this eclipse, especially like in terms of relationship and stuff, I feel like this eclipse is going to be maybe the roughest on you. I don't want to say like, dun, 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 it's going to be awful, but I do feel like emotionally you're going to be kind of on that up and down. There's definitely going to be like a zigzag emotional roller coaster. But what I keep hearing is when you actually embrace this and you just say, I don't want to play the game anymore, and you remove yourself from the game, you walk away from what is sort of presenting itself to you, I feel like suddenly things get better. And I know that this is a card of choice. I feel like the choice that you're here to make is to say, I don't want to be beholden to other people's moods or whims or circumstances. I really would like to hold my own. And so, this is a card that, it can feel like spoiled for choice or being overwhelmed at the choices. I don't feel that at all for you guys. I feel like the choice is simple. Choose you. Walk away. And I know that's the 8 of Cups energy, is the walking away, but I feel like that's what this is telling you. Walk away. Remove yourself from anything that feels roller coaster, that does not feel consistent, because you need that consistency in order to get the clarity on where you're going next. So close it down. You can always come back to it if you need to, but I'm just really feeling here, close it down. Wrap it up. Okay, and for all of you signs now, how can you best focus these energies in your life? So this is like a good action step to take. Oh, I love it. The sun. Live your joy, live your truth. Don't allow anyone or anything to get in the way. Be really in that space of expectation. Expecting that the universe is providing all of this, expecting that all of this is going to lead to this, and say, thank you, universe, bring me more, and move forward with that. I shouldn't use the word expectation. It should be the law of assumption. It's the law of assumption. I assume that this is all showing up in my path because it's getting me to where I want to be. I'm assuming that all of these things that I am releasing and working on are going to make my path better and are aligned with where I'm going and growing. I'm assuming that I'm going to learn all sorts of fun things. So as a result of that, I can let go of, having to try and navigate and figure out and orchestrate, and I can just really be in that sun energy. Allow the sun to warm me. Allow the sun to light the path and light the way. Yes, this is your time, and you're embracing it. Wow. All right, my air signs, that is your transformational tarot for this special edition solar eclipse season. As always, if you guys need a little support, need a little love or some clarity around what's going on, you know where to find me. And otherwise, it was great to connect. I will see you on the flip side, and transform well. That's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great to connect with you guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment for more content like this. And feel free to follow me on Blue Sky for even more content every single day. Can't wait to see you guys next week for another installment of Black Feather Couture, Divining the VIP Life.